Welcome to WagerTalk TV. I am Kelly Stewart, joined by Ralph Michaels at CalSportsLV and Marco D'Angelo at Marco in Vegas. Make sure you're giving both of those guys a nice follow on Twitter. All right, here's a game. I have not been following this conference. I've been absolutely terrible. I've been focusing just on a few select groups, so I'm excited to hear your opinion on this one because Loyola Chicago, a nice little force to reckon with last year. And
Cinderella.
Yeah, very Cinderella. I mean, they beat Kansas State, so a little more than that as well. So I do remember the name. I remember Sister Jean, and that's about all I've got for this college basketball season. All right, Missouri State at Loyola Chicago. Ken Palm look ahead line is Loyola Chicago -7. Marco, I'll start with you.
Whenever they upset Kansas State last year, did you drop any F-bombs on Sister Jean?
No, but I definitely was putting out Sister Jean memes. Like funny ones, you know. Well, there's nothing else to do besides that.
This is a spot where you look at Loyola. They got off to a slow start this year, and they lost players from last year's team. Now you look at them is they're getting closer to March Madness. They're building up steam. They've won 9 of their last 12 games, and they find themselves on top of the Missouri Valley Conference again. This is also a big revenge game for Loyola. They had their worst game of the season. And then when I say worst game...
You think if you double up a score, that's a bad loss?
Yeah, 70-35. Yeah, I mean, so you know they've got this game circled. But you know what? Now they're playing well. The public knows that this is a big revenge game, too. And I make the number 7.5. I'm being realistic here. It might come higher based on them, see what happens with the public getting involved, if they want to take the revenge factor. I think it's getting a little bit where we might find the value on the road team in this one because Missouri State, they slow you down. They play defense. They want to get you into that half-court game. And it's a lot of points to be laying if we're talking about a game that might end in the upper 50s, low 60s.
I agree. Yeah, first one to 60 wins. If someone hits 60, you know, I would like to be on Missouri State here, even though, you know, yes, they have revenge. But, you know, if you read the papers and you read about this team, they have talked about what a bullseye they've had on their backs. Clayton Custer, his stats are across the board. They are down. People are so much more physical with him because they know he's the guy they have to shut down. So they are feeling the effects. Yes, they are 9-3. They're 2 games clear in the conference. Drake, Illinois State, and this Missouri State team are all 7-5. Now, one quick note when you are looking at the Missouri Valley. Some conferences, if you can't win the regular season conference title, does it really matter if you're 2, 3, or 4? Well, yes, in this conference, because they have 10 teams. The bottom 4 teams have a play-in date the day before. They play those games at night. So the number 1 seed in the conference gets to play the team that played the last game the night before. I love it. You play at 9 o'clock at night one night, and then you have to play at noon against the number 1 seed the next day. And then the 2 seed gets to play the other team that played the play-in right after that. So there's a huge advantage to be the 1 or a 2 seed. So that, just keep that in mind for those other teams as you look down the stretch. But, you know, Missouri Valley shot 63% against Loyola in that first game, shot 52% from three-point land. That's not going to happen again. Loyola hasn't lost a home game since Indiana State last year, which was like the conference's first or second home game. So they've gone 2 years in the conference basically without a home loss. But again, like Marco said, it's going to be a low-scoring game in conference play. They're 0-2 when they've laid 9 or more against the spread. They've won the games. They're 3-0 when they've laid 8 or less. So there's that number there that you have to look about. Now, the reason I can't back Missouri State here, they're number 352 in three-point defense out of 353 games. Loyola is number 52 on offense, shooting 3-pointers. Missouri State is a very bad defensive team. The players leave a lot of guys open. So if a team gets hot from the 3-point land, they could beat Missouri. But again, in a low-scoring game, yes, they have revenge, but this is a tough spot to lay that many points. But that puts me in the quandary here where I'm going to, you know, I would say you are probably correct. I would make this total, it's probably going to be in the 119, maybe 120 range. And it's a game where if I see 124 or less, I'd be apt to bet the under.
And remember, with this kind of number, Loyola can get their revenge. Doesn't mean they get the cover. You know, so I probably won't be involved in this one, but if I did, I lean Missouri State.
All right, great stuff, guys. $9 Monday at WagerTalk, and you get all daily packages for Monday's action, plus any college basketball, NBA, and NHL priced at only $9. This includes any 5% best bets, normally priced at $30.